This episode of Marvel Standom is presented by eBay. We're all looking forward to Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the epic conclusion of James Gunn's trilogy about everyone's favorite spacefaring misfits. But as part of that conclusion, we're going to see how Rocket got his start. Every hero has an origin story, so fans can pay tribute to one of our favorite Guardians with this brand new and totally adorable eBay-exclusive Funko Pop Flocked Baby Rocket from Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Remember, eBay is the only place to score the Guardians of the Galaxy Flocked Baby Rocket Raccoon Funko Pop, which is an exclusive eBay drop. Head on over to eBay on Tuesday, April 11th to get yours. So what's next, folks? I think it's time to talk a little Secret Invasion. What do you think?
Yes.
It looks so good. Can we just throw that out there? Like and not only does it look interesting, I mean, when I say that it looks good, it looks good. The use of shadows and actually feels cinematic and it's not all flat and CG goop. Like, it's just exciting to see something that just has that's adapting a visual medium that is visually exciting to look at. So I'm just excited for that.
Yeah, I think one of the difficulties with Quantumania in particular is that the mix is so off in terms of the color levels.
Yes.
That Quantumania basically looked like, I mean, apart from anything else, there were so few actual physical sets. The whole thing looked like it was, you know, if you get all the different colors of Play-Doh and you mix them all together,
Yes.
and like it eventually just becomes this kind of, it's brown but with other colors sort of in there somewhere in its genetics. That was kind of what Quantumania was like. But this looks great. Like, it genuinely looks terrific.
My concern is that people like us are going to absolutely friggin' love it. And like maybe there's other half of people that are going to go, this is really slow and boring. What's going on here? Like, I feel like this is going to be a slow burn in a lot of ways. And I'm pulling that out of my arse. I don't know whether it is, but yeah, I think there's going to be some people that, just like with Andor, you know, when that came along and everything had been quite upbeat and colorful for a while, I'd just been, this is really boring and slow, and I don't get it.
If they actually do manage to do like an espionage thriller, a paranoid espionage thriller in the MCU, though, I'll be so impressed.
Yes.
Because there absolutely is the scope for that, particularly when you're dealing with a bunch of actors who would be very up. You know, Ben Mendelsohn can do whatever he wants, like get to chew the scenery up. The difficulty that they have is that obviously you're coming at it from a source material. Secret Invasion, the actual series, was, you know, heavily trailed before it came out as being that kind of thing, all the kind of embrace change house ads that they ran in the comics and so on. And then when it came out, it wasn't that at all. It was like one issue of people being kind of suspicious of each other and then 7 issues of a fight in a park.
Oh. Nobody has said he loves you. Was that the catchphrase that they would use? Yeah. Nobody said that in any of the trailers yet. So I'm hopeful that there's none of that at all in this. This only has the name and scrolls, and we can just leave that monstrosity behind us.
Yeah, it's like when they take a bad comic with like Age of Ultron and they turn it into a great. Sorry, I'm being handed a note. Okay, forget that.
No, you were so right. Oh, I thought I was going to have an ally here. Oh, a brilliant movie, a thoughtful character drama in a barn.
Thor goes to a jacuzzi for a while.
Okay, there was that, sure, but come on.
I mean, bad comic into good movie. I mean, Civil War is right there, Al.
That is true. That is definitely true. Civil War almost made me stop reading comics when it came out. Like, I would be reading comics for 20 years or whatever, and I was this close to stopping reading comics because Civil War was so awful.
My buddy calls books like that wall bangers because like you want to fling them across the room and they like Civil War is a wall banger. Secret Invasion, wall
also
banger.
a wall banger. We've got to
Yeah.
be careful though, because I think last time that I was bad mouthing Secret Invasion, we got some clapback from some viewers that were like, it's perfect masterpiece. And
Oh well, I'm not going to be here
those are
next episode,
Skrulls.
so I'll take those brickbats. It's rubbish. It's rubbish.
Yeah, it's I marked out so hard for this trailer that I was watching it alone. Like I woke up and I clocked into work, and it was like the first thing I did was watch that trailer, like while I was having my coffee. And I literally said out loud to nobody, I said, "Oh, hello there," like a total dork, like just like a total, because this calls back to, look, the Winter Soldier is like forever going in and out of my, top 3 Marvel movies. Like it is just, it's just something I just constantly revisit. It to me is like the perfect Captain America movie. It is so much of what I want out of Marvel in general. And at the time, we all know Kevin Feige was like, it's a political thriller. And it's like, it is in no way a political thriller, but it was nodding towards more traditional action and thriller genres than superhero stuff, than most of what the MCU has ever been willing to do. This looks like they're kind of going for it again. And if the show ends up with this tone, if this is like Marvel's Andor, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to lose my mind. And I have heard through the grapevine that it is really good. Like I've heard people describe this as like an HBO show.
I mean, Fraggle Rock was an HBO show as well. Let's not forget. So.
Fraggle Rock holds up really well, dude.
Right.
Like
It does. It does.
Well, Bradstreet's a great writer. He did some great work on Mr. Robot, which I watched from beginning to end. I was still watching it long after a lot of people gave up. So I think that says something.
Anybody think this might be pulling more from like John Hickman's Secret Warriors than, the actual Secret Invasion source material at all?
Well, I think where it's pulling from is Robbie Thompson and Nico Henshaw's Meet the Skrulls. And the only reason I think this is because I was watching the trailer subtitled, and Emilia Clarke's character is Gia, and Gia is the mom of the sleeper cell Skrull family in Robbie Thompson's Meet the Skrulls, and her husband is this character Klur, not to be confused with Klurt, the Super Skrull. I think it's kind of a Mick-Mac kind of scenario. But so I think that they're maybe going in that kind of a direction where you've got this family of Skrulls. They've been living on Earth for 20 years. They are planted as a sleeper cell. They're not in touch with the kind of Skrull battle plan, Skrull high command kind of thing. They're kind of out there by themselves. So if they are still on a kind of a war footing, then you could end up with Ben Mendelsohn trying to call these people back in, and the spies just not wanting to come in from the cold.
I've never read that. Is this a future book club episode?
It's a really good series, and it's only like 5 issues.
I think so then. Let's do it.
I haven't read that either.
We're going to need some book club stuff for Secret Invasion. So I think, Al, you might have just nominated our next installment there.
It'll be interesting to see how civilians, to use your phrase, Mike, respond to this, since the Skrulls have been so different in the MCU. That was a nice twist for those of us that know the characters, but for somebody that doesn't know the race at all, they're very sympathetic and refugees and all that in Captain Marvel. So it sounds like the stuff that I've read that have only been like Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn and Emilia Clarke talking, just the actors, not the writers or producers, anything like that. It sounds like that's a lot of what they're trying to tap into, this kind of build on the refugee idea, that these are refugees that have been on Earth for 20 some odd years and have been promised by Nick Fury that they would be given a planet at some point, and now they're sick of waiting. And so Emilia Clarke's character is Talos's daughter in this version, and is her sort of punk rebellion is that she's going to go out there and Earth is going to be the Skrull planet. So I like that. I mean, to kind of go back to this being the MCU Andor, MCU shows have kind of touched on real world politics, sort of. I'm thinking Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that dealt with refugees and nationalism for a few minutes and then quickly did not. So I'm skeptical that we're going to get something like we got in Andor, where they sit down and describe space communism to each other. But at least the roots are there, and I'm hoping we can get something off of that.
In the coming months, we're going to have some really cool interviews on this show as well. Don't forget, folks, we are also at Marvel Standom on Twitter and Instagram. Drop us a line. Let us know your burning questions. Tell us. Don't ask us. Tell us what you want us to cover in upcoming episodes. And don't forget about our DC show. Check out DC Standom when you can on all major podcast platforms, as well as our paranormal, horror, and supernatural show, Talking Strange, hosted by the brilliant Aaron Sagers. Now, if you came in late today, you'll be able to watch this entire episode on denofgeek.com or at our YouTube home, Den of Geek US. And don't forget to check out past episodes there and also wherever you get your podcast. Thank you to Andrew Halley, the best producer in any corner of the multiverse. You were on the ball today, pal. Special shout out to Michael R. He makes the podcast version of this show all it can be. And most of all, thank you all for watching, listening, following, and subscribing. This has been Marvel Standom on the Den of Geek Network. Until next time, remember, folks, we stand together.